All right, here we go. House Republicans securing another win for President Trump's agenda. Get this. They voted to cut $9 billion, only the second time in history, of federal spending.
Madeleine Rivera joins us live in Washington with the details. Good morning to you, Madeleine.
Good morning. The House voted 216 to 213 to sync up with the Senate and send this bill to the president's desk. Two Republicans voted against the measure, Representatives Mike Turner from Ohio and Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania. The bill formalizes the cuts DOGE has made. It will block $8 billion earmarked for USAID and upwards of $1 billion from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, which funds PBS and NPR. Some Republicans were worried about Congress ceding its power of the purse to the White House. Ultimately, though, they say the bill is necessary to cut back on wasteful spending. Democrats, in the meantime, warn the bill threatens lives and national security by providing China and Russia with a chance to fill the cuts in American aid. The White House is keen to tout this as a domestic win on top of what they say are other positive economic markers. They point to lower gas prices, for instance. The national average for a gallon is $3.16, matching the summer of 2021. That's per AAA. And they're also highlighting the $100 billion they say the country has collected from tariffs.
The American dream is back, and everyday families are already reaping the benefits of this incredible economic turnaround in just 6 months. President Trump has ended the era of economic surrender and implemented powerful tariffs to stand up for our workers and businesses and rebalance America's trading agreements. Despite all of the doom casting from the so-called experts claiming that these tariffs would be the end of the world as we know it, the opposite has occurred.
The House also passed a trio of crypto bills overnight. President Trump is set to sign one of them today, the Genius Act. It's already been approved by the Senate. It establishes the first federal standards for stablecoins. Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian.
Pretty amazing. Thanks so much, Maddie.
The tariffs are working.
Yeah, so there was 100 votes for the cryptocurrency rules and regulations, the Genius Act, from Democrats. Because I think it's like what we need in the NCAA. They're like, we want to win, but we need regulation to find out who the crooks are, find out, if there's some type of retribution. There's just no system now in the cyber world. And that's why David Sachs, as a crypto czar, was genius. He knows the business, and he knows the people, and he sets up sensible regulation.
And we were just talking about, too, Thune, as well as the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, deserve a lot of credit. They have been able to get these bills through with the president's agenda, and he's signing them. And this is just the latest happening overnight.
I just love that they're cutting wasteful spending. It's $8 billion of wasteful spending for USAID, and then $1 billion for the corporate public broadcasting. So for the rest of this fiscal year, if they had not passed it by today, then that money that's allocated for those agencies, they would have received the money. So this is, and they're saying they want to get the woke agenda out of the public broadcasting, and this will do that.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it's their own fault. Deliver the news. And I was listening to these stories about these small Alaska stations that needed full financing. I get it. And when there's an emergency, they need to go to that station. They got to find another way to finance it because, sadly, the PBS and NPR had a political agenda. We watched the hearings. This is not an opinion of any conservative, and I think Democrats would admit it. So you are there and have bias. At one point, there's a Republican president who's going to get in there and do what they're going to do.
Not with our money. But it's a tale of two stories, because we were talking about this yesterday. I think people would have learned by now to stop panicking when the president has an agenda item or says something on Truth Social, because you should just wait for the result. Back in April, this is what the media, how they framed the inflation and tariff debate. This is what in the big wall right here. Trump's new tariffs will hit lower income households the hardest. Then CBS said, here's why experts think Trump's tariffs could hurt the U.S. economy. And then CNBC said Trump's tariffs, when consumers should expect inflation price hikes to hit the wallets. But that's not what they're saying right now.
And then Vox in May said the tariffs are here, inflation isn't what gives. And then the New York Times in June said, where's the inflation from tariffs? Just wait, economists say. And then MSNBC in June said, why Americans haven't felt the brunt of Trump's tariffs yet.
So what he did, he tried to do in the first time, he wanted to rebalance trade. For the longest time, he said America's being ripped off. I could roll in Phil Donahue shows when he was a 40-something businessman. He was saying the same thing. First time, maybe didn't know exactly how to approach it. This time, 4 years to think about it, and he does. What I think is key is only two countries retaliated. One was China, one was one was Canada. The rest said, we're going to take it because we're going to use this time, now it's August 1st, to negotiate a new deal, which has also happened for the first time that I can remember, maybe 10 years. We have a surplus, maybe since Clinton was in the White House. We have a surplus at the end of the month because the revenue, additional revenue is coming in. I think after talking to the EU guy yesterday, when we talked to him, yesterday, I think that they're going to come up with a deal with the EU. So you need the EU, you need China, you need Japan, and I think they're going to get the EU. In the beginning, they were just so angry at Trump. Now they're dealing with Trump.
Look at some of the economic wins under Trump's administration, and keep in mind he's only been in office, since January. Gas prices, the average price now is $3.16. That's a 10% decrease.
I had $2.89 in Massapequa, by the way.
You had what?
$2.89.
I had $2.51 in Texas last week.
Really? In Massapequa, New York. I was thinking it'd be higher there. All right, so it's still overall the average 10% decrease from the same time in 2024.
So when you look at the retail sales, a 0.6 increase since May, and then the inflation number, Brian, is 2.9%.
Right, they wanted a 2. And there was a 2.7, went up to 2.9. So it was as predicted, but it's a little bit higher than they want. But I think as these other deals come in,
that's right.
I think inflation
Remember how high it was under Joe Biden?
That's right.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it rocket to 9.
Yeah.
And then we got to get that threshold down. So then that's when people really feel it. And their goal is by the midterms, obviously.
And then we have international financial agreements, $2 trillion plus invested, and then tariffs, $100 billion plus in duty collections in the month of June.
It's just incredible.
It's hard for even the Democrats to keep up.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.